Now is Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana. Senator, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. As Caitlin just reported, the White House suddenly withdrew the nomination of Ronald Vitiello to lead ICE. He was all set to go. His nomination was on track. The Senate Judiciary Committee was set to vote on him next week. But senior advisor Stephen Miller at the White House convinced the president to pull the nomination because he didn't think Vitiello was tough enough. What's your take on all this? The president apparently did this without consulting Congress, without consulting Secretary Nielsen.
Well, the president, Jake, is entitled to surround himself with advisors of his choice. I don't want us to take our eye off the ball here. We're at the breaking point at the border. In March, we had 100,000 people come into this country illegally. That's the most in 10 years. We're on track to set records here. And I don't look, personnel, that's up to the president. But the new head of ICE alone can't solve this problem. The United States Congress is going to have to help. And frankly, we need help from our Central American friends and from Mexico as well.
Well, you're kind of making my point, because this is obviously a time of, there's a humanitarian crisis at the border. It is a difficult time. The U.S. government is facing this very challenging situation. And then, for whatever reason, this nominee, to be head of ICE, is kind of ignominiously just thrown by the side of the road. Doesn't that concern you? Doesn't that? Yes, of course, the president has every right to do it. He's the chief executive. He can do whatever he wants. But isn't the way this is being done, without consulting you and your colleagues in the Senate, without consulting Secretary Nielsen, doesn't that kind of undermine the whole argument that this is a real crisis that we're in?
Well, Jake, I'm hesitant to comment because I just don't know why the president did it. I don't know the background. I mean, you know, if it's Mr. Miller had second thoughts, he probably should have expressed those thoughts, his first thoughts, a little while ago. But the world's not going to spin off its axis here. We do need a competent person, an aggressive person who's head of ICE. But we've got bigger problems than that, frankly, right now at the border. And I know we've been through this the last 6 months, where the Democrats say we don't have a problem at the border and the Republicans say we do. We got a problem at the border.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not like the problem we used to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we've got a serious problem.
Sure, especially with all these families coming, and there isn't the housing to take them all in and keep them. I want you to take a listen to the Secretary. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I was just going to say that there are two problems. Number one, our asylum laws need to be changed, and number two, you know, rather than cutting off the money to El Salvador and Guatemala and our other Central American countries, I would like to see the president call an immigration summit with the president of Mexico and El Salvador and Guatemala and Nicaragua and Honduras. And let's say how can we solve this problem? Similar to what we did with Planned Colombia, when we had a lot of problems with the drug cartels and cocaine coming out of Colombia in the late 1990s and in 2000 into the next decade. We sat down with the president of Colombia. We put up some of the money in return for specific commitments. But I think that would help a lot. But the thing that would help the most is to design some asylum laws. It looks like somebody designed them on purpose. All you have to do right now, Jake, as you know, is make it to American soil, say the magic words, you turn free into the country, you're told to come back in 2 years to court, and of course nobody ever turns back up.
Well,
you know, you could drive over around D.C., pick the first person sleeping under the interstate, and say, "Can you draw up some asylum laws?" And theirs would make better sense than the ones we have right now.
I know you're speaking hyperbolically. I think statistics show that most people do show up for their hearing. But I take your point, Central Americans and the asylum laws. That is the situation. You talked about a summit. Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen actually had a summit. I think it was last week in Honduras.
I know.
She was on Chris.
I know, it's not enough.
Right. She was on Chris Cuomo's show.
The president needs to do it.
She was on Chris Cuomo's show last night. I want to see what you think about something. Let's roll that sound.
In this environment right now, where you want focus on the kids and the families, why is the president going down to view fencing and not going to see the kids?
Well, I think part of that's just it's an optic.
Now, I know you're talking about the humanitarian crisis. I'm talking about the humanitarian crisis. Both of us have been talking about it for a long time. The president is very fixated and focused on the wall. Now, I understand in his view, the wall is part of the solution to the humanitarian crisis because it will deter people from coming. But don't you think there's also this other side of it? And if the president went and met with these refugees, that might also help get something done?
Well, yes. The short answer, yes. Look, we do need a wall, but a wall alone is not going to stop the problem. We do have some unsavory people coming across the border, gang members, drug dealers, but we've got a lot of people coming from Central America out of fear, not hunger, fear. Their countries are being run by gangs. I saw a recent survey done by Vanderbilt University, something like, depending on the country, between a third and a half of the people in our Central American countries have been victims of crime within the past year, and usually it's extortion. And so they're leaving. And that's why I want to see, and I'm glad that the Homeland Security Secretary went down there, but the president, this is a job for the president. He needs to call a Central American immigration summit, invite the president of Mexico, the presidents of the Northern Triangle countries, saying, look, let's sit down. You've got a problem in your country. It's causing a problem in my country. We're willing to put up some money in return for specific commitments. We did the same thing in 1999 with Planned Colombia with Colombia. Now, that's the root of this problem. We also need to ask for some cooperation from our Democratic friends. We need to change the asylum laws. They make no sense.
Okay.